Good morning, everybody. Give me a second here. Oh, so some bullish sentiment really picked up here based on SPX options, which is probably an indication that it's going to run out of steam. Yeah, I know, Dan. I was just looking at something. I'm going to put up the charts. I was just looking at the SPX options, and it's like what caught my attention was okay, a little move off of the tariff jolt was, settle low when there was the reprieve of, you know, waiting a month. That was the gap down and the tariff thing, the thing that started on the previous week and then down it went on Friday. So markets are up here a little bit. I usually don't start with SPX, but I was putting in the strikes, and I'll get to that. So here's the spiders. You can see they've been jiggling around here and they're gapping up and they haven't reached the top, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, right? We don't know, but they do have room to go up. You can on the 65-minute here, you see the void and they're gapping up a bit. My 5-minute chart on the lower right there is, live at the moment, like pre-market data. And you can see it's here at around 605 or so. And there really isn't anything to stop it from going up. Um, if you look across what's directly to the left, you got these pivot highs there. But, generally I don't ignore it. I discount it because it traded above and below. So it's been used up as a reference point and just slice right through it. Anyway, we'll see if it can get up there. Looking at the highs, that was a lower high. So might this make a lower low? It might. We'll see if we get a turn day here. Um, or does it go up to new highs? I mean, I don't know. We've got a pivot low down here on the 65-minute, a little minor support area. We'll see if that holds. Um, so still just a trading range, things slopping back and forth. Um, we talked about possibly things tightening up. That's not happening. No, still wide range. Tightening up meaning ranges start to overlap each other and things, smaller range bodies, narrow range bodies, sideways, so on and so forth. But if it makes a lower high, we might see, okay, lower high, higher low. I don't know, whatever. It's just a mess, right? Wherever you want to look at it, it comes down to it's kind of messy. It's a news driven market. And, does this maybe it goes sideways for who knows, another few weeks or, you know, into the options expiration this month or next month. And, you know, whatever it is, it's just erratic price behavior and wide pivot distance, from each distances and back and forth, you know. All right. So SPX, what caught my attention was how like the strikes were down here at like 59 something yesterday. If you keep track of it, you know where it was, but it was down low and it's come up a lot, right? So while this came down, and it was way down here, the put strike, and I said this is like it ain't going there, so no brainer. It's just this, when things move at what are believed to be an excessive amount, and the activity becomes such that the market makers move the extreme that we pick very far away. It just tends to be okay. They're picking that level because they believe it isn't going to go there. And 99% of the time it doesn't. So now it's come up a huge amount. And so, the market goes up yesterday as it did. It was pretty bullish, the price action, it whipped around over here. And then as it started to go down, it whips right back up again. And whoever was thinking short now has to be like, okay, and longs get more confidence, yada, yada, yada. And then it just kind of, after 12 o'clock, just kind of was a grinder, right? And a little buying right into the close. So you get this kind of buying into the close, which suggests, fear of missing out. And it's gapping up today. So we'll see, does the gap get sold or does it hold and whatever it's going to do. Um, so the strikes move way up. Now it's at yesterday's low. It's gapping up a little bit. There's why would it? I think news is already out. The 8:30 news is already out. And you know, what's going to drive it back down there today? Something unexpected, but who knows? Uh, can it go up there today? I think not, and it's at resistance. So the fact it's up 3 days in a row and it's gapping up, you know, the higher level probably is the better odds. And because, even if it starts inching up, it just that, put some support in yesterday's high, and you can see the congestion here. So we covered this in MT Live yesterday. Um, at end of day bases and rallies, and so as you look at a bar, so this bar looks similar to that bar, made a higher high, higher low, but they form differently in intraday. So as we look at this bar and it's gapping up, and you've got a pretty reasonable little support area that could hold things if they start to pull back. Right? So, all right, 2050 really touching each other. So you get this wild, price action. So compared to this price action, yeah, it's tightening up a bit, but not enough to call it a high probability, trade on this time frame that suggests anything. So still overall just a mess. Um, Q's here coming up to resistance, and you can see my cursor on the 5 minute, the high overnight. See where it is, right up into that topping tail bar and close to that reversal on the 65-minute chart. So, getting to what we refer to as its destination, or the intro slide, see technical headwinds ahead, and that's what it meant. Was technically it's coming up to resistance. The gap down that day was at support, and it appeared like it could go down here. And then we got the news, oh, we're going to have a 1 month reprieve on the tariff. So, and then markets rallied. And so now it was like, okay, risk on, that's out of the way. And now we'll see what jitters the market or gives it more confidence to push higher here within this overall range. Transports, just, nasty move down, not a good sign. And it's just hanging here, and it really hasn't participated in this advance. So that's a little bit of a bearish sign right there. IWM, of course, because that came up to resistance, and that's a positive sign. Sometimes, over the years, there are times where the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 tend to move together, and the transports and the Russell tend to move together. And most time, what it is that the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 are moving up, and the other two underperform. And so now you've got this little divergence between the transports doing absolutely nothing and the Russell moving up. And over the last, I don't know, let's just call it year or so, you've had a lot of these talking heads, managers on CNBC touting, the Russell 2000. And why would I pay attention to that? Because you got a theme where you got a lot of these guys that are managing a substantial amount of money, and they start repeating the same thing. So they have like minds, and that reinforces the technicals. And that it's like, okay, you're buying the dip, just whipping around. And so now we want to see, does it sideways action here? If it can do that, well, what I was talking about back here. It's like, okay, it's chopping around after the move up. If it can clear those highs, we got a great opportunity. Well, tariff, whatever happened, the gap's down, it's up at resistance here. And let's see what this does. So far this week, we got a decent gap reversal bar, wider bar. And so that's encouraging to see, if we can get like I don't know what it's going to form, a 1, 2, 3 or some kind of price action or anyway, getting above this area would be a good opportunity. KRE, which is a large part of that, that came up off of the low. It's at resistance. Let's see what that'll do. XLF, that's kind of whipping around here, but you know, so far, I mean, seeing financials do well, that's a positive. Um, tech technology, just a mess. I think it was at QCOM this morning. That was another accident. That was another one that was getting shellacked. Yeah, here you go. Gapping down here. Apple already had its correction, was Google, Amazon. So the generals are getting picked apart here. And, small caps are getting some money. So a little rotation, but no real momentum other than day to day. Don wants to see SPX. I'll show that to you, Don. And so there you go. I know you like to capture that. There you go. All right. Gold has had an incredible little run. It's stalled here. Maybe it pulls back or jiggles around. Pattern like that suggests it's going to go higher. Inflation concerns. England cut their interest rates overnight or today. Well, I guess us are overnight. And, the pound was getting a little bit of a little beating, which is typical, when interest rates get cut. With the euro, you can see they're all red here. That's just slopping around. Canada got shellacked on the tariff news, and uh-oh, change, flip back up again. So some real nasty volatility, but so the yen has started to move up, and that tends to be a good thing. And we've got interest rates. Here's the 10-year, the bonds finally come out of this head and shoulders bottom. So bond prices moving up, interest rates moving down. So interest rates moving down, that's good. Competition for equities, lower interest rates versus equities. Okay. But now you've got Europe lowering interest rates, our interest rates going down. And I don't know, maybe you'll hear it, maybe we won't, where they start talking about, recession because, interest rates going down has positives and it also has negatives where it's like, well, if, the economy is doing great and growth is expected and there's a demand for money, well, interest rates tend to be steady to up versus, weaker things, interest rates tend to go down. So, it's balancing act and why one of the reasons why the markets are so erratic and crazy, uncertain. Let's just call it uncertainty. Silver, so far, is this going to be a breakout bar failure at this resistance? A little consolidation up inside bar. Or does it consolidate here? I don't know. It is at resistance and gold's extended. So, maybe it's probably not going to move up the way it did or had been. So we'll see how much this consolidates in the coming days, what that actually does. I'll just take a peek at futures before I hand it over to Dan. So I'm just chopping sideways. Qs, I yesterday talked about, the lower highs and the idea of things tightening up. So, this is pretty stalled, doing nothing here pre-market. Now, I wasn't drawing trend lines, Alex. I'm not into connecting the dots and projecting. So, you know what? I used to do that when I first started out. Eventually, I came to the conclusion. I mean, this is freaking ridiculous, right? Connect these dots and project it into the future, and magically you'll find support and resistance. What a stupid idea. Anyway, internals, this came down to the zero line. Typically you get a bounce off of that. Sentiment is working off the extreme, neutral, nothing to go on here. So same thing we've been dealing with day to day, day to day. We'll see what today brings. All yours, Dan.
But Greg, like you said, bullishness is working off the extreme, but I heard you say earlier that it was excessive yesterday, and that suggested a high.
Well, it has been excessive. It got excessive over here at the high.
No, I know. I thought you were saying yesterday it got excessive.
No, I think what I was talking about, Dan, was this. I don't think it was yesterday. And so here are the day-to-day put call ratios and the advanced decline line. So this is still low, the equity one down here, but down here is where, it was pretty low, and where the moving average got to extreme aligned with breadth, and we got the high, like, the next day.
All right, then I misunderstood. I thought you were saying into the close yesterday.
No, yesterday we talked about how bullish the price action was. I don't think I talked about the put call ratio yesterday, but somebody in the room might remember.
I don't know. I thought you opened up your presentation today saying it. So no, I misunderstood that. No worries. Yeah, no, I've been saying that for 3 days, that there's no pattern here on the broader markets, but 15-minute charts, incredibly bullish 15. And I said, my bias is trading off the 15. It's just gonna churn through resistance until it stops. That's my bias, and it still is. But I'm not trading those unless we do zero DTE. We'll trade more compelling patterns, and like always, we find plenty of them. Roll USB short yesterday's low. Sure. Yeah. Sell setup after breakdown daily, weekly. And I see it kind of gapping up a little bit here, so that's good. I'll set an alarm 4740. There's a ton of earnings, and again, I went through them, but delete a bunch already because there are so many. But there's a lot of interesting earnings ideas. So let me go through them. Daku, yeah, 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 looks fantastic, Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, I think I had it on my list here and probably took it off my list on that gap down, but now it's back in play. Looks fantastic. So I need to put that in a window. Earnings 3.6. Tesla, I posted as a short. We've been talking about a topping pattern. So it looks like it's going to gap under the low. So let me tell them to wait 5-minute low. Alex and I have been talking about these privatization of these things. You're getting a nice gap up. Wow, Alex, what an amazing entry right here at this 1, 2, 3. Range expansion, breakdown failure. That is a no-brainer entry right there, but looks good again with today's gap up. Yeah, this is the federal home loan. They're talking about privatizing it. Lays. Yeah, I saw that thing gapping up, but it's excessive, Bali. Remember yesterday's class on MT Live was on gaps. So it's a very bullish gap, but it's gap in resistance. And look at, it's had a big run here from 320. So you can watch a pullback. HYMC, I moved the stop to yesterday's low. I had an up alarm go off. We've been in this for a while with long calls. Let me go up to earnings now. A lot of interesting ones. Yeah, Raul saying, cars are weak. So yeah, we got Tesla posted F. Yeah, did a swan dive yesterday on earnings. That's a nasty gap. I tell people put tape over the price. That's gapping below all this. That's nasty. GM cousin. Sell setup also, but sloppier pattern. ARM. All right, so I'm gonna have a ton of ideas here. So as always, I'm gonna need help. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So what I'm thinking is call spread for tomorrow. If there's any juice on the ARM, Mr. I have an alarm at 346. So 1, 2, 3. If it can negate this gap down, then it's a 1, 2, 3 breakout. I heard on the news, so they're renaming their company just to Strategy and putting a Bitcoin logo on it. They bought another 20 billion of Bitcoin. It's interesting. I don't know when they bought it, but I'd be interesting to see if Bitcoin did anything, because if Bitcoin did not rally, then that means, what does that mean? It means that 20 billion worth of supply got fulfilled and the stock didn't move up. So that's kind of a red flag. All right, 166, bearish gap, call spread. I'm just going to type out all these tier ones in a minder. A SIPA, call spread if there's any juice. The Tish. It would have been a call spread, but it's rallying, so I'm going to just delete that one. NBST, a mess. This is Mittal Metal, an ADR. And I don't want to trade that, but the problem with X-ray, it is a 1, 2, 3, but look, there's no void. If this were fluid down, then I would say yes, target prior high. And we added those words to the MT Live concept screen of void, and this is an example of a very bad one. NUE, remember this was earnings day. Remember, we've been playing around with longs and put spreads ever since that day, and it's looks like it's just going to. Let's say this is a void. See, this one's fluid, so that looks substantially better. So let me just put NUE on top of that. EQH bullish, extended, no pattern. All right, this one's going into the whack category. Look at that, gapping down $24. It's nasty. Yesterday's class. It's not a pro, it's not a novice. It's nasty. But today's Thursday. 30-minute high. Possible 1 DTE put spread. DHT opening flat. That's a pseudo 1, 2, 3. Yeah, but it's at so it's at resistance after this big run. So that we can find others. PCK, $91. Put spread on a pullback. That's why I am getting whacked. Now see that's a nasty gap. But that is definitely not an exhaustion gap. So I have no bias. I have no idea. Is this thing gonna take out a 30-minute high or low? So move on and come back to it. Wow, this thing sold off into earnings. That's a nice pattern to short yesterday with that topping tail. But nothing, no pattern now. OHI, I like bottoming pattern. This could be a 5-minute higher or pullback. Olex 68, nasty call spread. 10B. Now this is interesting if it negates the gap and moves up. So I have an alarm at 43.40 because then it's a buy setup with a 3-4 bar turn. Array. Array blasted into earnings. But now it's exhaustive. All right, what did I get filled on already? Cooter. All right, UGI. I was bidding for Cooter. All right, UGI is an earning stock, and I said if it didn't, if it opened flat, so let me say you can buy into a gap fill or 5-minute high. All right, Cooter. All right, I was bidding 0.05. I posted it over the high. So I'm entering early. But Cooter 53 G test. G test. Bottoming pattern. My alarm went off. TMDX. Bottoming pattern. Alarm went off. Oh no, my bad. We're already in this. So up alarm. So let me reset it. Q spider's pulling in here a little bit, but not a big deal. It just means we don't have to rush into anything. Keep an eye on that Daku MBOT. MBOT I also bought pre-market. I posted that over the high. Wow, this 10B that I said if it can negate the gap, it is tanking right now. All right, TMDX. Put an alarm. $77. All right, let's move the stop under this base. How about 73.68? Done. IONQ alarm. Oh shoot, Alex, our BCE is gap and tanking. Darn it. Alex and I bought 26 calls on that. Shoot. Darn it, I was giving it a few minutes for spreads, but I actually had a pre-market order out. Doctors just gave up their gains. I actually had an offer out, Alex, at 60 cents, and I did not get filled. And fuel alarm. This could be a good 30-minute high. It's an ascending triangle, as Debbie calls it. Looks good. Ascending. Let's come back to that. One of you mentioned, oh, I got it right there. One of you mentioned root yesterday. That's, up a lot, but it's grinding higher. Yeah, I gave Tesla 5-minute low, so that's a go. Behind here is always. All right, this MBOT. All right, MBOT triggered. So I gotta post both these. I got them pre-market at 202 or 201. EPAM up alarm. We're in this, nice. This is one I said you could add if you're not in it. Not break even now. So, GI, so that pulled in, I'll post that open. And the gap fill. Good. Set a new alarm. 9760. Closes like this, we can buy it over the high tomorrow. Yeah, yeah, that was a buy setup. You're chasing now, Thomas, but yeah, that was viable. Look at this PI middle chart, balanced but no great pattern. SWKS. It hasn't, I don't trust it yet. And Roblex, another one that got killed. That one's holding better. Wow, it's $11 off the low. Look at that. So 1 DTE or 55s are only 7 cents. A D line gapped up to 1200, got sold into, but it's still 760 is bullish. Orbi alarm. That was a buy setup from yesterday. I think Raul gave that to us, and that's my T alarm, but it gapped up, so not chasing. 5. Too messy for me. All right, Tesla 5-minute low hit. 370.49. He's posting. Ballet girl. Yeah, I'd rather a pullback though. I'd rather a nice 15-minute pullback, Thomas. Because your stop still has to be yesterday's low. EPAM just made first target, very nice. So now we can move stuff under 257. Two. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. Mr. Low Alarm. That deck is up $3. Remember, I was watching that all day yesterday. Ambot coming in hard. Shoot. That's not a good sign. I was bidding more at 198. I'm going to cancel that. EPAM. Greg, remember Z Zulu? Shoot, I never pulled the trigger, but that was on my longer term watch list. All right, Mr. Not doing anything. Still valid as a 1, 2, 3, as long as it holds here. Remember you all talked about lemonade yesterday? That had a nice gap up. So you, Alex, nice gap up. Daku back to up alarm, but early. It's too darn whippy for me right now. And you, EPAM, up alarm again. Nice. Let's give it another. Another up alarm. Microsoft and Apple took off. And hey, the fact that it negated yesterday's gap down is very bullish. He usually doesn't have any juice though, but here I'll be all over this for a 1DT year. The 410s for tomorrow. Four tens, 57 cents, $5 wide, 35. I don't trust going out to next week with the markets up 3, 4 bars of resistance. That's the problem. Like transport's having a nice day here, but total friggin' mess.
Seems like money's just rotating into things that haven't moved.
G&K doing nothing. But still fine. Mitter. Still hanging in there like a champ. We have a full lot on this thing. Um, I forget which day. It was one of these 2 days right here. We've been on this for a while. I'll tell you how long. Since 115. Look at that, Greg. We got in on this igniting bar. We've been in it ever since. So that's 3 weeks. Sam, what do you got to say for yourself? 3 weeks, 3 week swing trade. Are you proud of me? Well, you know what's funny, Sam? I think I posted it as that originally. I did, Sam. It is a core. It is. Look, daily, weekly, monthly. Let me go through all opens now. ABBV doing nothing. CMCL, it's one of these little gold stocks. We got break even stop. EPAM we know about. Fubo coming in again. We have break even stop at 416. GNK we just looked at, doing nothing. Set an alarm at 1465 and 1490. Got it. Al, oil doing nothing, but and if Debbie were here, she would confirm it. But Debbie, it's a 1, 2, 3. So as long as it holds here, we can add over the high. Yeah, Netflix has been strong. Yeah, I mean that's it's a big old bull rectangle just with an invisible flagpole via the gap. But yeah, it's strong as can be. All right, HYMC, I lowered the stop. 242. Diamonds IWM at the low.
For the gap fill and the Russell.
Silver, we're still in. Break even. Yeah, break even stop 35.60. TMDX, up alarm went off. I tightened stop already. The 73.68, which is 12 cents away. TMF, the yields holding. VGZ, another gold stock, doing well. I moved stop yesterday's low already. The White House, nice White House. Roger ain't here, but I told Roger he could that these were both 1, 2, 3s. White House and EPAM. We're in both of them, but as ads. All right, White House. Let's move stop below now. 0568. Still not break even yet, but can't help it. On what, Alex? On how? All right, let me look. But I don't think so, because it came down in a fluid manner. But you and I have this talk all the time about the potency of resistance to the low. I mean, it is a difficult subject, so I don't mean that mean. Greg, your Fizzler gapped up, so I can set a new. Hey, your Fizzler's a 1, 2, 3 now. I'll set an alarm at 163. Actually, I just had a low alarm on now at 26. I'm gonna set an alarm at break even. 96.93, up alarm 109. How? Well, so excellent question. There are overlapping bars here, so it's not as fluid as this. Correct. Correct. So the fact that it kind of stalled here doesn't surprise me. But as long as it holds here, it's right at 40%. As long as it holds here tomorrow over these highs, which it looks like yesterday's high, should go through that. Because for it to then have to recover to get through these two bars, I think it'll resume through those three bars. So that's a good question. Yeah, AD line, yeah, after it gapped up, it's been solid down. So there, that's my answer on that. Why am I? Well, this Opie is another marijuana stock that my buddy gave me. I was bidding for this pre-market. Did I get filled? Opie. Nah, shoot, I did not get filled. All right, I think I was bidding 98 cents. I'm gonna go ahead and buy 100 here, placeholder. Just take the offer on Opie. But bottoming pattern. Oh, wait, this isn't office. I thought he told me this was marijuana. Opie. Yeah, this is a REIT. Sorry, never mind. This is not marijuana. Cooter is. But regardless, he loves these little stocks, and I like both of them. All right, so I was going through opens. Am I done doing that? Tesla working well. Oh, I got to post MBOT and UGI. And then yeah, UGI. Hmm. MBOT, UGI. Oh, remember I had this Kemper on my list yesterday. That thing ripped, inverse head and shoulder. Hmm. 32.50. Ordered at 31.46. Hey, beautiful entry in the gap fill. You know what? Let's move stop break even already. I love when we can move stop break even within 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Look, I just fat fingered and deleted that. Spiders.
Damn, that IWM trade or the TNA, I would like reversal on that gap fill and base too, but I mean, it gapped up and coming down from the declining 50 and that resistance. So it's not the best to think it's going to move above today's high.
OPSN dog. All right, we've been in this for a while, and it's just a dog. Nothing to do. Get to GoDaddy. He's also doing nothing. That expires tomorrow, though. It's been totally dead money. Let's see where we're at. We can move it break even. 207. Oh, it got spready. Um, Nine, 208, 48. That's that PI bounce nicely. Wow, that beautiful bounce. SWKS is doing better. Let's see if there's any juice. That would be the 61s. Ah, there's no weeklies, darn it. Because the 60s are 70 cents. I was going to get really excited. Look at the volume on that. In 30 minutes, it's dwarfing everything else on that chart. That's nasty. Hey, Alex, who is his cousin? I forget. Skyworks. It's not Kroger, is it? All right, but I thought he had a direct cousin. All right, where am I? PLCE. I've been trying to shoot. I was remember yesterday I told you all I was trying to sell $10 puts for tomorrow. Never got filled. Let's go through earnings here and see how things are shaping up. Ford looks horrible. Looks horrible. That's an igniting gap breakdown. Like we talked about yesterday. It's nasty. All right, Tesla, we're up nicely. I'm gonna set an alarm at break even already, just to be alerted. We're up, we're up $6.
You shorted it there?
Yeah. We're up $6 right now.
Right?
So I'm gonna set an alarm at break even just to bring it to my attention. Cause I hate to give up a $6 gain. 370.49 is break even, and I'm gonna set a low alarm at 363. And then I'll May trail 5-minute bars high, short third. Apply. Yeah, it looks great, Thomas. Yeah, I like it. That looks great. Earnings 225. It's looks great. Let's buy it. Light volume. Let me check the level one. No, it's tight. It's a penny wide. Let me give us stop. Those are those bars. So how about here? About 1254.